In 1999, a 15-year-old boy broke into NASA, and no one knew his name. Yet, what he stole could have changed life aboard the International Space Station. He wasn't a spy. He wasn't working for money. He was just a teenager sitting behind a glowing monitor in his bedroom. His alias was C. Comrade. And by the time authorities discovered who he was, they'd realized the truth, that one curious high schooler had just exposed the fragility of the US government's cyber defenses. But years later, that same boy would become the center of another investigation, one he swore he had nothing to do with. And this time, it would cost him his life. Jonathan Joseph James was born on December 12, 1983, in Pinecrest, Florida, a quiet suburb where nothing extraordinary ever seemed to happen. His father, Robert, was a computer programmer. His mother stayed home to care for him and his brother. From the moment he could reach a keyboard, Jonathan was obsessed. By age 6, he was exploring his family's PC. By middle school, he had replaced Windows with Linux just to see if he could. When his parents once took away his computer, he ran away and hid in a bookstore until they gave it back. Online, he called himself Comrade, a name that, soon enough, the FBI, NASA, and the Pentagon would learn the hard way. He wasn't in it for fame. He was in it for curiosity, for challenge, for that electric thrill of discovering the unknown. But curiosity, in Jonathan's world, was about to collide with power.
It began innocently enough, probing local networks, tweaking code, learning Unix. Then, between June and October of 1999, things escalated. Jonathan found a vulnerability on NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center network in Alabama. With a few keystrokes, he gained access to multiple systems and downloaded source code that controlled environmental life support systems aboard the International Space Station. Temperature, humidity, air quality, all in his hands. NASA panicked. The agency had to shut down its network for 3 weeks, costing around $40,000 in damages. When asked why he did it, Jonathan simply said, "The hard part isn't getting in, it's knowing what to do once you're in." But he wasn't done. That same year, he broke into a Defense Threat Reduction Agency server, part of the Defense Department's cyber infrastructure. He installed a sniffer program, intercepted thousands of sensitive emails, and captured Defense Department credentials. He had done the impossible. But the spotlight he never wanted was already turning toward him.
January 26, 2000. Pinecrest, Florida. Agents from the Defense Department and the local police swarm a quiet home. Inside, Jonathan James, 16 years old. They seize his computers, his disks, his life's work. To the public, he's a cyber menace. To his parents, he's just a kid who spent too much time online. Jonathan cooperates, pleads guilty, and becomes the first juvenile in U.S. history to be convicted of a federal cybercrime. His punishment? 6 months of house arrest, a ban on recreational computer use, and letters of apology to NASA and the Pentagon. But when he violated probation with a failed drug test, the sentence became 6 months in juvenile detention, making him the first American teenager to serve time for hacking. When he got out, the world moved on. But Jonathan never did. He retreated from the spotlight, his mother's death, depression, and aimlessness replacing his once burning curiosity. Still, the story of Comrade had only just begun. In the mid-2000s, a massive retail credit card theft shook the United States. Millions of identities stolen. Stores like TJX, OfficeMax, and Barnes & Noble compromised. The operation was led by Albert Gonzalez, a skilled cybercriminal with a team of hackers. And somewhere in the shadows of the investigation, agents noticed a familiar name, Jonathan James. A witness claimed to have worked with a JJ during one of the breaches. The Secret Service suspected that JJ might be Jonathan. On January 2007, his house was raided. Agents found a rifle, but no evidence linking him to the crimes. Still, he felt hunted, trapped by his own history. 2 weeks later, on May 18, 2008, Jonathan James was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Beside him lay a 5-page suicide note. In it, he wrote, "I have no faith in the justice system. This is my only way to regain control." He swore his innocence in the TJX case. "I'd be like Kevin Mitnick times 10, he wrote, "but I didn't do this." He ended with chilling finality, "I die free."
Jonathan's death stunned the hacking community. Friends, family, and former investigators were left with questions that would never be answered. Had the pressure of fame and suspicion broken him, or had the system he once exposed finally consumed him? His father described him as brilliant but lost, a young man whose gift for technology became both his rise and his ruin. 10 days after his death, Secret Service agents quietly retrieved a tracking device from under his car. By then, it no longer mattered. Jonathan James, comrade, was gone. He was 24 years old. His story became a cautionary tale for a generation of hackers who grew up believing they could outsmart the system. But his story also posed a haunting question. What happens when the system turns on one of its own? This is the legacy of Jonathan James, the boy who hacked NASA for fun and paid the ultimate price for it.